of y'all didn't come to have church this morning. I'm going to say it one more time. We have enough faith to discuss things about what could have happened in the past, but we don't have enough faith to discover what can happen right now. We've got to be careful about folk who are always talking about what could have been and what could have happened and what should have happened. Instead of focusing on the past, you need to discover your present and know that God can do a new thing in your life. I'm going to tell somebody, I don't care what your past has been. I don't care where you came from. I don't care who walked out in your life. You can't be concerned about the ifs in the past. You've got to discover what God is trying to do in your life. And I come down to tell somebody today that God is trying to do something in your life. You may not see it. You may can't feel it. But I came to tell somebody that God's about to move in your life. I want you to look at your neighbor and help me preach. Say, neighbor. Come on, talk to your neighbor like you mean it. Say, neighbor. I've got good news for you this morning. God is trying to do something in your life. It doesn't matter where you've been. It doesn't matter what you've done. God is about to move in your life. I came to preach the call well this morning and declare unto you that God's about to shake up some things in your life. God's about to move in your life right now. I know you had some hard times. I know you had to struggle. I know you had to depend on the Lord and nobody else. But God's about to do something in your life. I wish you would lift your hands and say, I believe God. Oh, come on, if you believe it right now. I know somebody here, you've been praying a long time. But I come out and tell you, God's about to move in your life. God's about to move in your family. God's about to move in your finances. God's about to move in your health. Somebody to lift your hands and say, I believe God. Touch your neighbor and say, I believe God. I know I had hard. I had to cross some tears. But God is up to something in my life. He didn't bring me this far to leave me right here. But I believe God. Shake your neighbor's hand and say, neighbor, I believe God. If you believe it, put your hands together. I just prophesied to somebody right there that that person has been waiting on that thing to move out of your life. To that person has been waiting on that open door. To that person has been waiting on a miracle in your life. I came to prophesy to you and tell you that the devil is a lie and he can go back to hell because God's about to move in your life. And when God moves in your life, your haters can't stop it. Fans can't block it because God is going to move in your life. Say, I believe God. God's about to do something in my life. God's about to take me to another level. God's about to open some doors in my life. God's about to make my haters out of liars. God is about to move in my life. We have enough faith to discuss about what could have happened then, but not enough faith to discover what can happen now. You need faith for the present. I'm convinced that the reason why most of us can't get the victory in our lives is because we have more faith in what was than what can be. You stop worrying about what happened to you and what you've been through than what you're going through. I said you're more concerned with what you've been through than what you're going to. But God is trying to move you. You need faith for the present. You need faith for now. Martha goes to say, if, Lord have mercy. If you had been here, my brother Lazarus would not have died. Verse 22, she goes on to say, but. That means that the conversation is about to change. She said, but even now, I know that God will give you then you don't have any faith. If you're always talking broke, you don't have any faith. If you're always talking sickness, you don't have any faith. But she begins to talk differently. Faith diminishes the ifs. She did not talk about what she thought could happen, but she said, I know. Lord, have mercy. She didn't say, I think. She didn't say, I speculate. She didn't say, I surmise. She said, I know. And that's what faith will do. Faith will have you knowing some things in your life. Because faith, watch this. Faith, we know, substance of things, hope for the evidence of things not seen. You want to know a good basic definition of faith? Faith is the ability to see what you can't see. I don't know if you got that. You'll get it when you get home. Faith is the ability to see what you can't see. Lord, I'm going to shut up on myself this morning. I know you can't see how you're going to make it out, but you got to see it. I know you can't see how you're going to pay your bills, but you got to see it. I know you can't see how things are going to turn around, but you got to see it. Because faith will let you see what you can't see. Because I'm not looking with these eyes, but I'm seeing what God has already spoke to me. And God already told me that I'm better than where I am. God already told me that my body's healed. God already told me that my finances are going to come together. God already told me that my children are going to be all right. I'm seeing what I don't see right now. And don't you get distracted by what you're seeing in your life right now. Because it's only temporary. You got to see what you don't see. But there's something happening underneath Martha's conversation with Jesus. You can become frustrated, humiliated, agitated, and intimidated when you deal with the ifs of life.